So we'll go back to Cam Ward. Uh, so, yeah, it's fun watching him throw the ball. Man, that guy can sling it from anywhere on the field to anywhere else on the field at various arm angles, doesn't give up on a play. That is usually good.
Hmm.
It sometimes can get him into trouble. We've already seen that. So I'm right there with you. If somebody's coachable and they've got that kind of talent, look out, because if you can just take those 3 or 4 times a game and limit that to, everybody's going to make a mistake. But if you limit the 4 to 1, and I'm not saying he's throwing 4 picks because he's
Right.
not, but he's probably throwing 4 balls in harm's way that he shouldn't a game, and you limit that to 1, you don't want to take the 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 confidence out of him. You don't want to make him hesitant, or you still want to have that mindset that he can make the throw, but it's got to be a structured risk. It's got to be a calculated risk every time he does that, knowing that, hey, we got another down, we got another play. And again, I got playmakers all over the place. Uh, so most likely, hey, this is the best of both worlds, because you got the guy that's got the capability of making the game changing play, but you can kind of coach him into a wiser approach. Now, there are a few guys, Brett Favre's typically my default answer, that you would think after 20 years he would learn. Man, I've got a howitzer and I've got maybe the best arm that's ever been put on a human being.
Right,
But
right.
if I would just eliminate these mistakes, but he just, you would think at 40 years
He
old
was
he would be
unconscious.
smarter, but he just never
He
got
was
through to
unconscious.
him. But uh,
No, I agree with you. I listen. There's a reason he's where he is in the Heisman race. I mean, his numbers are insane. It looks like he's playing flag football, right? I think our OC is calling an unbelievable year so far. Yeah, he's got toys, but I think what a lot of people don't realize if they don't do their homework on him is this is the first time he's been on a team where he doesn't have to be the guy all the time. Will we need him to be the guy? Yeah, at some point, but we're going to play, no disrespect, we're going to play Cal, Virginia Tech. I think they're solid college football teams, but you don't have to make every play against them. We will I feel like we would just lean on them eventually. They just can't play to our talent that long unless we're giving them stuff. Here you go. Here's a 70-yard touchdown. Here's an interception, throw back across the field. Here's, if you're not giving them, they're going to go away eventually, but we keep them in games. And then that's why you see on ESPN all the highlights of them trying to make miraculous plays in the fourth quarter. And that's going to run out at some point. He's going to have to learn. I think he's smart enough from what I hear that he is going to learn, but you also have to tote that line where you have to let the guy be that guy. It's definitely touchy. It's touchy. I'm going crazy. I go through an emotional roller coaster with him, but at the end of the day, he's smiling and he's doing his thing that he does. That's all over the social media, and we're winning. So what am I going to do? I got to just take it, What am I going to do?
well, fortunately, in this current college football playoff situation, maybe he's going to have to learn by losing a game and costing the team, and then that's going to really penetrate. And I'm not saying, as you mentioned, he appears to be coachable, that he's not trying to make those corrections
Right.
now. The thing that I'm surprised with the offense, and you can certainly set me straight on this, is that with Mark Fletcher coming back, with the addition of Damian Martinez, with all the other backs, that they're basically 4 deep, with Jordan Lyle, with Chris Johnson doing what they can do in spot situations, the offensive line being one of the best in college football, supposed to be, is that I expected more of a dominant running game.
Yeah, I think and I love to get in these kind of talks because I think you have to understand scheme, right? And for example, you bring up Damian Martinez. Of course, look what he did last year. Oh my gosh. I mean, the guy was one of the better guys in all of college football at Oregon State. Different scheme, different alignment, not standing next to a guy in the shotgun. Big difference. It shouldn't take a lot for a guy that talented. But there's a combination that most people are not catching on to. We have a new center in Carpenter. And a lot of people, we were spoiled with Matt Lee, who's currently in the NFL, because you can pull him, you can move Matt Lee, you can do all kind of stuff with that. Carpenter's more of a mauler. And if you look at the splits on the offensive line, they're a lot closer this year because they don't want to put Carpenter in space. But if he gets his hands on you, he's a mauler. He's more than adequate. He's doing a solid job at center. So because the splits are closer and they're running out of the shotgun with Damian most of the time, they were just running a lot of draw / RPO plays, which I wasn't a fan of. And yeah, maybe when Fletcher comes in, it looks a little different, but the numbers are the same. They were pretty similar if you go watch the numbers. So what they did the week before Cal, they made the splits a little wider and they changed the scheme a little bit. And you noticed if you watched the game, we actually looked like we were running the ball again, normal. We're pulling guys, we're doing pin and pull. You see a little bit more movement, and it started getting out where we were moving the ball down the field again, like we used to, with that offensive line. But when you get down 25 points, running game usually goes in the garbage, and that's kind of, we went away from it. I did see the change in scheme in the first half in running, and we were very successful. I think at one point we were over 100 yards in the first half, but then Cam took like a 15-yard sack. So it looks like 88 or 90 or something like that. But scheme has a lot to do with it when you have that talent. And I think that they're starting to figure out, look, if we're going to have to run the ball at some point, either later this season or in the postseason, we need to tweak it. And it looked good against Cal. We're going to find out a lot more against Louisville this week. But I don't think it's the talent. I don't think it's the play calling. I think it's the play calling with the scheme that they were using. The splits were very tight for personnel issues. I'll just say that, not to talk bad about a player. But I think now, after they watched the Cal tape, because if you go back to watch Cal tape, it was very successful. It's just you got way behind. You couldn't sit there and grind on them no more. So we'll see the real thing in Louisville. I'm optimistic because I think we needed the change. We saw the change. It was working, but we were getting our butt kicked. So running the ball was out the door.
Got Miami Flow on the line to break down some Canes football. Of course, the game coming up this Saturday against Louisville. What's going on at your channel this week?
Oh, we do the same thing every week, Sunday, Thursday, and then we have 2 other shows throughout the week that different content. One is like more for fans, and then another one is more about what's going on, current events. We try to give everybody a little bit of everything in Miami, in the Miami world. I love it. I enjoy it. One of the niches that we have, and I like to say it on all the shows that I go on, is that any money that comes in on our channel, we actually turn around and make it NIL deals for players. We give all our money back to the NIL stuff, which is kind of cool, and it's been fun because it started off with peanuts. Now, we're making a little bit of the monetization is picking up, and we're being able to get more and more players involved. And it's been really a pleasant surprise. Like didn't know that was going to happen. But other than that, same old. It's football season is the best time of year. Christmas to me is August to early January.
No doubt.